Welcome, everybody, to the Hooligan Sports Podcast, Season 2, Episode 28. We are joined by a very special guest today, none other than the one and only Mr. Daryl Evans. Thank you, Daryl, for joining us today.
My pleasure. Great to be talking to you guys and catching a glimpse at you as well. It's going to be fun.
Oh, for sure.
Good seeing you again, Choppy. Hey, quick question. We asked all our guests this. What have you been doing during quarantine, and what keeps you busy by any new television shows you've been watching?
I haven't really focused too much upon the television. I just try to make it part of my routine is to get my workouts in each day. I'm becoming a better cook, a better chef, experimenting with a lot of different foods, being able to spend a lot more time with my kids and making meals for them. So it's been great in that respect. These are uncharted times that I've never been able to experience with my kids. So it's been really good in that regard. But as for TV, just you catch a few shows here and there. I like watching true stories and things like that, and some documentaries, but not nothing that I've got to be glued to the TV at any particular time.
No Tiger King, huh? Like what Army watches, huh? or 90 Day Fiance. Yeah, we learned a lot from Army with that first question. It was interesting.
And Faust,
learned a
right?
lot. Yep, and Faust.
So I'm going to ask you, Daryl, growing up in Canada, obviously hockey has been a big part of your life. Can you tell us a little bit about the teams you follow, maybe some players you grew up admiring, specifically, and then the journey as far as through juniors and everything, and at what point did you realize, you were going to become a professional hockey player?
Wow, that's a pretty good question. That's going to take me all the way into about Friday.
Oh, let's hear it.
We'll hear.
Break here.
I got time today.
I was a late bloomer. I didn't start skating till I was 8 years old, and that's when I played my first hockey. My dad never skated or never played hockey growing up. He was a pretty good all-round athlete. He was actually in the Brooklyn Dodgers organization. Never played for the big team, but he was in their organization way back. And he used to play some baseball in the off season along with hockey. And it was just a thing that the neighborhood, my buddy down the road, and his father, and my father, decided to put us into an in-house league, and that's how it all got started. And the first year that I played, I couldn't even skate, so I became a goalie. So I was a goalie my first year, and I'll never forget my mom and dad. They missed one game because my dad would work his Saturday job, and I ended up going with my neighborhood buddy. And there was a couple of kids in the league that could kind of flip the puck a little bit and get it off the ground. And I got one between the eyes, and I come home and I looked like a raccoon. I had two black eyes, and my dad, I remember him coming home from his job, and he says, how was hockey today, son? I said, Dad, loved it. It was great. Of course, he's looking at my face. I got two black eyes. My nose is bent. And he goes, well, next year you learn to skate or you don't play. And I'm going, how the hell am I going to learn to skate by next season? And I think that's where kind of everything really started. I went to a power skating school at a local ice rink, and I remember going for a week. And the coach that I had, I don't remember his name or anything like that, but I remember the experience. I can see him, and it was magical for what he did and how the way he impacted my my ability to be able to learn to skate, and then probably the passion that I have for teaching skating, and still at this stage of my career. So I became an all-star the next year, and then the following year I started playing travel hockey. So it was things kind of ramped up pretty quick there. I played on one of the better teams in the city of Toronto in the MTHL, the Metropolitan Toronto Hockey League, at the highest level. I captained my teams when I was young. A couple of things that stood out as a youth hockey player. The famous international Quebec Pee Wee tournament that goes on every year, and we were fortunate enough to go to that year. And at that time, we became the first team to win the city of Toronto, the province of Ontario, and the Quebec Pee Wee tournament all in the same year.
Oh, wow.
And I captained that team. That was the same year that Gretzky was in Quebec, but he was playing for Brantford at that time. And I remember the buzz that he created around the Colisée in Quebec. We'd be going to the rinks in the morning with our billet families, and you'd hear the French language. They'd be going on, and all of a sudden, the name Gretzky would just pop out, and he was just drawing that much attention back then. And we went one night to watch him play, and they defeated a team from Texas at that time. By a score of, I think it was 25-0.
Oh my
and
God.
I can't remember how many points it was crazy.
Real nail biter.
He scored every goal.
Yeah, it was, until that puck went down, nobody knew who was going to win. But once the puck went down, that was the end of that one. But
it was a football
I remember
score.
people were standing or sitting in the stairwells and all that because of the attention that he had drawn, to his team and the game. And I'll never forget that. And then the next couple of years, we actually had Gretzky came and joined our team with my band team, which would have been 2 years later. And they ended up coming up with a rule in Toronto at the time that they couldn't have him play. He had to play either junior hockey, but he couldn't play like minor hockey with us. So they put him on the junior B team as like a 13 or 14-year-old, whatever he was at the time. And of course, he went and tore that league apart.
Right, no stopping him.
So they probably accelerated his path to the WHA at that time. But
Wow.
those were, I think, probably at that time, like when I was Pee-wee, I think that's when it was kind of a dream come true. I remember watching hockey at a young age. We used to play street hockey all the time, but we used to, Saturday night, watching Hockey Night in Canada was always a big thing. The family would get around the black and white TV. You either have one channel or the other, and hockey came on one of them. So you knew all six of the teams. There was just the original six teams back at that time, and it was neat, watching the likes of the Montreal Canadiens, the Toronto Maple Leafs. That goes back to when the Maple Leafs won their last cup. So that just goes to show you how far back that was.
Right.
Chicago. Bobby Hull. Jean Beliveau, and then Bobby Orr when he came about. In Toronto, Johnny Bauer in goal, and there was just so many great players at that time. I remember admiring the speed of Yvon Cornway for the Montreal Canadiens, the big shot of Bobby Hull, and of course, Mr. Hockey Gordie Howe. I mean, who can forget him?
Yeah.
So
All-time greats.
Those were all special things. And then I remember going to play junior hockey at a young age. I went from Bantam, so at that 14, 15 year age level. We went to play junior B, and actually Gretzky joined us on that team as well. And we had a really good young hockey club. We had a couple of other guys that went on to play professionally. Billy Gardner, who played with the Chicago Blackhawks. Stuart Smith, who was with the Hartford Whalers organization. And Gordie Howe's youngest son, Murray Howe, who later went on to become a doctor. He was on our team as well. So we had some good young talent on that team. We ended up getting beat out in the finals that year. And then after that, it was getting drafted to junior, where I was drafted by the Niagara Falls Flyers, a gentleman out of Toronto who went on into the NHL, became a general manager with the Kings. Sam McMaster was the guy who put our team together in Niagara Falls. And I was actually talking to one of my teammates from that team this afternoon, and we were reminiscing about our first year in playing in Niagara Falls. And I think we had we figured it was about 10 or 11 guys that went to the NHL from that team. So
Oh wow,
that was pretty incredible.
So
It's kind of crazy. I want to bring this up. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. A lot of those names you named, Choppy, aren't on the cup anymore, right? Because they took that top ring off. Like
did
Gordie Howe's is not on the cup anymore. If you look at the cup, which is crazy.
I didn't know.
Yeah, that's a shame. Those names should be in permanent.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are those ones that should never leave the cup. That's what our
All the
team is
young
up to.
players off.
You had mentioned that you had played against Gretzky and Pee-wee, and obviously him joining your teams later on. Oh no, that he was in the tournament. I was going to ask, did you actually play against him in a game at that Pee-wee level?
Not at that Pee-wee level. We played against him prior to that. I think it was the year before that, but we never played in that Pee-wee tournament against him. We had a really good team. The record, what we accomplished, showed how good we were. But we dominated the Quebec Pee-wee tournament. We had a lot of good players. Paul Coffey was playing against us at that time as well. He was on another team, and so there's some good young players here. But still never forget, that stage being in Quebec at the Colisée. You're an 11-year-old kid, and you're playing before 14,000-15,000 people, and that was probably the first time to get exposed to something that big at such a young age.
Yeah, for sure. Especially like you're saying, at that age, that's the top. Like that's the tournament
Yeah.
to be playing
Yeah.
in. That's awesome.
Right. All right, Mr. Evans, I have a question for you. From photos to videos, and for me personally seeing it in real life, can you please explain skating with no laces? How long have you been doing it? What made you start doing it? And how do you make it look so easy?
He wants you to teach
Uh,
him.
I'll tell you the story that I tell the kids that I teach. They always ask me, say, Coach, how come you haven't got any laces in your skate? I said, well, when I was young, I said we didn't have a lot of money. I said, we didn't have too much money, so when our laces broke, we tried to tie them together, or have her make them fit, and then after they broke again or a couple of more times, I just had to learn to skate without them. I said, so over the course of my career from, when I started doing it when I was young, I said, and I throw out a number, I go, I saved $242,656.12. The kids' eyes just open up like wow. And, then they go talk to their parents after the lesson or if it was at camp or school. And they go, what did you say to my kid? And I'm going, gee, I don't think I said anything, off the wall or anything like that. And they said something about 240,000. And I just laugh. I go, all the things I try to teach them, and that's what they remember from that. But,
the one lesson.
No, I remember my very first hockey coach when I was playing minor hockey. He had said to me, I'll never forget, I got my first pair of CCM Tackleberry skates, the old kangaroo skin skates, and I was putting the laces in them, or somebody was lacing them up, and he said, you should take the top eyelid, or the top, undo the top eyelid. He says, you'll have more flexibility, in your ankle, and you can move your foot around a little bit more freely. So okay, I'm dumb, I'm young, I'll do it. So I ended up taking two eyelids down. So I took it down 2, and I never really did my skates up that tight. Maybe it was because my mom and dad allowed me to tie them at a young age by myself. Because I had coaches that didn't want the parents in the locker room all the time, and they wanted us to to put our stuff on. You're going to play the game, you learn to put the stuff on. So I think some of it maybe came from them that I never did tie them up really tight, probably because I couldn't when I first started. I mean, I think my skate laces were thicker than my arms when I first started playing. And so I remember I went from there, and then it evolved into when I started playing in the competitive, let's say Pee Wee and Bantam, I started to pull them down another eyelid or 2. And eventually there was times where I took out 5 eyelids, and I'd keep my skates on real loose, but I would tape them on the top just so a skate couldn't climb down alongside of my boot. But my skates were really never tight. I mean, the eyelids, if you looked at my laces, they were 2.5 inches apart, up the tongue of my skate. And so that went on through my career, and I used to use a lot of tape. I mean, I would have been a great sponsor for or a great candidate to have a sponsor for tape. But I think when I got rid of the tape was when I went to Europe after my career here over here, and I said, you know what, I'm going to try and do this without the tape. So I started playing without the tape, and then when I came back from Europe at the end of my career, I said, you know what? I said, let me try this, and I cut about a 12, 14-inch lace, and I put it through 2 eyelets just to put it on the top of my skates so my skates wouldn't fall off. Uh-huh. And then after that, I'm going, what the heck am I putting this in? So I got rid of that, and it's been a long time since I've tightened the lace up. So, but the range of motion, the flexibility. I mean, when you look at it, your hand or your feet are a lot like your hands. So being able to kind of maneuver your foot around in your skate allows you to be able to kind of put pressure here and there, and that's kind of where it went. But no particular reason for it, but that's my story, and I'm stuck to it.
I'm gonna try I think Drew Doughty skates with loose skates too. I think.
I'm not sure if his are
no laces, but yeah,
tied. But yeah. I'll have
they're
to
loose.
take a peekaboo the next time we get in the locker room there.
You said that you were taking 2 off every league. Do you remember what league you were in when you eventually were no laces whatsoever?
Well, it's funny you say that. We had a team from Russia come in. We were going to play a celebrity, charity celebrity game, and this Russian fellow lines up beside me, center ice there. And he's kind of looking at my feet, and he's pointing. He doesn't know a word of English, and he's looking at me, and he's like gesturing at my skates, like, hey there, young man. Or not young man, hey, or old man. Where's your laces? So we just started, kind of playing the game, and then, I kind of caught him off guard, like how well I could move, and then. Just 2 years ago, we played an alumni game in Arizona against the Coyotes alumni.
Right. Yeah.
And a couple of guys there were giving me the business for having no laces. And I'll never forget the one time I really went to try to find that extra gear, and my heels popped. I almost lost one skate.
Oh man.
Yeah. So that's a reason where you do need to have laces and to keep your feet in the skates.
You're too fast for your skates.
Hey, Daryl, I don't know if you remember a few years ago, back in, I think it was 2015, we had a charity game. I actually coached you. You were one of my D-men. Do you remember that charity game? It was held for Tanner Raboyne in regards to Be the Match. It was a Be the Match fundraiser at TSC.
That was at TSC, right?
That was at TSC.
Yeah. I do remember that game.
Yeah.
Yep. I do.
Yeah,
remember
One of the best charity games ever.
I keep. Go ahead, Tommy.
I said Evans remembers because you set him on the bench.
Wow.
I can't bench chop. No, I always rib Bernie about that because he cherry picked the whole charity game.
Oh man.
And I know we got a couple of the coaches on the YouTube chat right now that's gonna say that you keep saying that, Rico. He cherry picked a cherry game, man. You can't wait at the blue line the whole game, man.
Right.
Now, those games are a lot of fun. The main thing being that, we get to raise some great funds for some great charities. But the camaraderie, the guys coming together to be able to see each other and then meeting, the people that are involved with the charities and the games. It really is special. And it just goes to show you the extension of the hockey family, how special that group of people is, not only locally, but globally. I saw the same type of things when I was over, playing, at the end of my career when I went over to Italy and England, that, you get involved in certain type of games and things like that. And it just brings everybody together. So it's great to see guys stay connected and bonded like that.
Yeah, it was great because actually Foxy coached with us. Daryl was on my team as defense. Bernie Nichols was
Did
on
we
the
come
other
up
team.
short?
We came up short at the end,
Yeah,
because
Foxy
Bernie
was
Nichols,
coaching.
he was cherry picking the whole game.
Yeah.
No, it's because Foxy was coaching.
There you go.
No, he was playing.
Gotta get rid of the coach.
One great thing was we had Pete Demers there too as one of the trainers for both teams. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's got himself a couple of 1,000 years of experience. So to have that type of knowledge back there, and Pete participates in a lot of those games now with us whenever we had, like celebrity games, our alumni, when we have our fantasy camp and that. And it's great to see Pete come around because, he's part of our cloth. I mean, like so many people that have followed the Kings for so long, they remember Pete. And Pete was a guy, back at that time, and even now, he still likes to stay connected and interact with the fans. So it's great having him on our group.
Yeah, and he brought his medical box too, which was great.
Was it empty just like it was when we played?
I was gonna say, was it filled with beer?
Yeah,
I hope so.
Hey, that's our form of ice these days. You got ice from the inside.
And what was cool about Pete is that the Kings actually gave him a ring in 2012 too. After all these years, they gave him a
Well
ring.
deserved.
Yeah.
So following up on the hockey family camaraderie and such, I want to know, what were your favorite teammates during your illustrious career?
Pardon me, say that one again?
I was saying, speaking, it's probably me because I didn't have my microphone close to me. My apologies.
Rookie.
I was asking, what were your, favorite teammates in your career?
I think, guys that had an impression upon me, definitely, Marcel Dion. I always admired the way that he played the game. But as I got to know some of the guys that I played with, the utmost respect for Dave Taylor, the way he conducted himself both on and off the ice. When Terry Ruskowski joined our team, coming over from Chicago, great leadership qualities in him. I enjoyed his company, off the ice as well, and engaging. We used to play cards and things like that, and and it was great to be able to spend some time with him. Jerry Korab was a lot of fun as well. And these are guys that we played cards with, whether it's on the plane or the bus and things like that. But those guys there. I remember, like I said, that whole Triple Crown line, even with Charlie Simmer and that. Charlie was always really good. And then, the group of guys that, kind of started, within the same group with as myself, Jay Wells and Bernie and I, we'd lived together our rookie year. We'd shared a place. And then there was Larry Murphy that we played youth hockey together. So coming together and playing in the NHL was neat. Jim Fox, who we played against in junior and things like that. So it was neat kind of coming together with these guys and being on the same side, for a change. And, you get to learn more about these guys, from a different set of eyes. I mean, you respect them as opponents, but you get to know them as individuals, both on and off the ice. And that was really nice.
That's cool. So, Daryl, you scored the game-winning goal, Miracle on Manchester. The famous spin around the ice, stick up, fall, and everyone jumps on you. What happened the first two periods where you guys were down by 5 goals, and what did you guys do to overcome that at the end?
Well, you've got to set a stage for a game like that, so we couldn't lay the foot on the gas at the beginning. Otherwise, we would have won by 11 goals.
It was a setup. I knew it. It was a setup.
The whole time.
It was all part of the plan.
Yeah, it was a setup, all right. Yeah. That series was like, if you look at it right from the beginning, just kind of set the stage going into Game 3, even before Game 3. They finished 46 points ahead of us during the regular season, so it was supposed to be a cakewalk for them. Right. They were just supposed to blow 3 us in three games, and away we went. So we went into the first game again, loosey goosey. I mean, we're expected to lose, and we were down 4-1 early in that game. We come back, we win 10-8. That's 18 goals scored by 2 teams in a playoff game combined. Crazy. That's still an NHL record. The next night, Gretzky scored in overtime to beat us 3-2, and I think at that time, even though the Game 2 was such a close game, everybody thought that the Oilers were in complete charge of the series now. Now it became a 2 out of 3, and Oilers had confidence. Well, that showed like that in the first 2 periods of the Game 3, the Miracle on Manchester, when they built that 5-0 lead. We got into a run and gun style of game with them, and of course, that should play to their favor. I mean, they definitely out-skilled and out-talented us. They were a young team, not a lot of experience. So, they built that 5-0 lead. And our mentality going into the third period was, it was our first home game in the playoffs. We felt we owed it to the fans to, put up a better showing than we had in the first couple of periods. And, we figure if we could win a period, then we could at least take some momentum into Game 4. We weren't saying the game was completely over, said and done with, but realistically thinking, nobody's sitting there saying, okay, all we need is 6 and we'll win this game. It's right. Like, you don't approach a game like that. But so, we did that, and, we were fortunate enough. Jay Wells scored just a couple of minutes in, and that just kind of set the stage a little bit, and, just kind of got, just took a little bit of that pressure off. Now that we had scored a goal, we got our fans engaged in the game, and by the middle of the period, it's 5-2, and, it's somewhat respectable. I mean, they're still in complete control of the game, but you could slowly see like the expressions on their faces changing, and you see the momentum turning. And, by the time it all comes to an end, when Steve Bozak ties the game with 5 seconds left, at that time, I don't think it was a matter of, can we tie the game? Is will we have enough time to tie the game? Gary Younger taking a 5-minute major penalty for high sticking Dave Lewis late in the game. So we had a lot of power play time at the end of the game. And also at the 10-minute mark, 9:56 of the third period, a bunch of us got those 10-minute misconducts, those dancing penalties. So I was actually in the locker room when we tied the game up. So I wasn't even in the game at that time. So the only way I could get back in the game was if it went to overtime. So,
wow.
So there's a bunch of us in the locker room. But I remember, just listening to Bob, doing it, Dion with the puck, and it just seemed like it was for eternity. And then finally the shot, and Bozak tied it up. And, we definitely had the momentum going into overtime, having scored, the last 5 goals. But then they had a chance where Mario Lassard already in overtime came out skating to play a puck and missed it. And next thing you know, I think it was Messier, had a chance on a backhand, and it didn't go. And I think that from that point there, I think we sensed that fate was on our side. And and then then we all know what happened after that. But it was a game that I'll never forget, and probably something that I've learned to appreciate and cherish. more as time has gone by than that particular night.
You had mentioned that, like, obviously you guys felt the momentum going into the third, and when you finally tied it, what was it like in the locker room in the intermission between the third and overtime? Like, what were you guys talking about? What was the overall environment in there?
No, it was crazy. I mean, a lot different than it was 20 minutes before when we came in there down by 5. I mean, it was probably, it was one of those things like pinch me, like this thing
Yeah.
just kind of just happened. It was like, I think probably for the most part we were still in a little bit of shock. We knew we had the momentum, but now it was at the point where we can't let this sit like this. We got to finish this.
Right.
It still doesn't make any sense to come back by 5 and then lose the game in overtime.
Yeah.
Now, the funny thing is, like, that particular day, when I played my junior hockey, I started off in Niagara Falls, and I got traded my last year to Brantford. And when I played with Brantford, when I played with Niagara Falls, we'd invited our billet family to a game. It was an elderly couple. They'd never been to a game before. And Steve Larmer was my roommate at the house. And so we were excited to have them come one night. And early in the game, we end up down 4-1, I think, at the end of the first period. And we come home, and it's about 10 o'clock at night. And, our billet mother, she's in the kitchen there. She's making hot cocoa, and she's got homemade pie and cookies on the table. And she's got her robe on. She goes, "Oh, boys, that was a tough game tonight." And we're sitting there going like, "What do you mean tough game? No, like, what the hell are you talking about?" And we go, what do you mean? She goes, "Oh," she says, "What did it end up? We left." And we go, "Well, when did you leave?" She goes, "Well, we left when it was 4-1, which was like at the end of the first period." Well, we'd come back and won that game 7-4.
That's awesome.
So we're kind of talking back and forth, and then next thing you know, the husband, he comes out of the bedroom, and he goes, "What happened, Mildred?" And he said, "Oh, the boys won the game." And he says, "Yeah, you can't leave a game till it's over." And he goes, "Ah, damn it, Mildred." He says, "You shouldn't have let you take me." I said, "No." I said, "Anytime you go to a game," he says, "you got to watch it out." So my last year at junior, I get traded to Brantford, and Sunday afternoon, I think we got like a 3:00 game. My mom and dad are going to drive down from Toronto, which is about an hour drive. And Carl and Mildred are going to come down from Niagara Falls, which is roughly an hour or so drive. And we're going to go have Mother's Pizza and Spaghetti after the game.
Nice.
So we're down by 3 goals late in the third period. And Mildred says to Carl, she goes, "Oh, Carl," she says, "Daryl's not going to want to see us after the game. Let's go home. We'll call him later." And he says, "Mildred," he says, we can't go home." He says, "Remember what Daryl told you when we left the last time?" She goes, "But there's only 2 minutes left in the game. They're down by 3 goals. He says, "Mildred," he says, "we can't go." Well, with 1:56 left in the period, I scored to make it 3-1. With 6 seconds left in the period, my line mate scores, we make it 3-2. And we go back to center ice for a face-off. Now, centerman is, trying to push the puck forward, and we're going to try to put it on goal and create an offensive zone face-off. So the puck I was playing right wing, and puck comes over to my right side a little bit. I just slap it towards the net to get the face-off. Well, the goalie mishandles it and goes in the back of the net. We tie the
Oh
game.
my God!
Yeah, so basically from almost center ice. So
God.
we tie the game 3-3, and then in overtime I score. We win 4-3.
Wow. So you've always had a flair for the dramatic.
He does it on purpose.
we haven't even touched it yet.
Oh
So
my
that
God.
day of the miracle on Manchester, I'm in my hotel across the street there at the Airport Park Hotel, which is right across from the Forum. And we go to the morning skate. I come back from the morning skate, and I got a message written in the box there. Carl Johnson called. Well, Carl Johnson's my billet father. So, I give him a call, and it was a San Diego number. And, "Hey, Mr. Johnson." I go, "Oh, Daryl," he says, "we've been following your career. We're so proud of you, blah, blah, blah," and all this kind of stuff. He goes, "Mildred and I are visiting my Air Force buddy down in San Diego." He says, "Any chance we can get tickets to the game tonight?"
Oh my goodness.
And I said to him, I said, "Well," I said, I got 2 tickets. That's all I can get. I says, the game's sold out. And we go from there. He goes, "Well, I'm coming." He said, "I'm not sure if Mildred's coming or my Air Force buddy." He says, "But I'll come. We're going to come to the game." I said, "Okay." I said, "I'll give you passes. I'll see you after the game." So after the game, at the game, he ends up coming with his Air Force buddy. And after the second period, his Air Force buddy goes, "Let's go, Carl." He says, "We got a long drive back to San Diego." And Carl's going, "No, we can't leave." He says, "See the little guy down there with the beard?" And he proceeds to tell him the two stories that I just told you about the 7-4-1 game and the 2-0 game. He goes, Carl, he goes, that's junior stuff. He says, this is the NHL. They're playing against Wayne Gretzky.
Right.
And he goes, I'll take the train back tomorrow. He says, I'll go stay at the hotel with Daryl tonight. He says, I'm not leaving. So he talks him into staying. And not only they stayed, they waited for me after the game so his buddy could meet me. And he says, I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it for myself. He says, he said, that was an incredible game. And everybody after that wondered why I hadn't give Carl season tickets.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was like, you had to get him to every game.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
Absolutely brilliant.
Mr. Adams, do you still have that jersey from that specific game?
No.
No. Oh,
was never given that jersey.
I wonder what.
wow.
Yeah.
And
then somebody tried to sell it to me.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Let me know where they're at.
They don't call us hooligans for nothing, Daryl.
Wow.
Me and Tommy would like to have a talk with this person.
Yeah, that goes back because when I had finished playing hockey and I got involved in the automobile business, my boss at my dealership wanted to get that jersey and present it to me, and he looked it up, or I don't know how, whatever legwork he did to track it down, and the guy just tried to rake him over the coals for it, and I said no. I said I appreciate it. I said, just the thought of you doing that, I said, is special enough. I said, but I would not expect you to pay an outrageous amount of money that the guy was looking for at that time.
Wow.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what, Daryl? DJ and I were talking about this earlier. Like, yeah, you used to do car commercials back in the day.
Cadillac, I remember.
Well, yeah,
Cadillac, right?
I managed a Cadillac dealership in West
Yeah.
LA. Yeah.
No. Oh man.
Yeah, I remember that. We were talking about this. Like, I remember, like, during the Kings games,
Yeah, but
there had the Cadillac commercial. But talking about your transitioning from as a player into a broadcaster, can you give us the story on about how you ended up becoming the current Kings radio color analyst and the journey into where you are today with that?
I was working at the car dealership, and we had an arrangement with the Kings and my dealership, and I think the package was that the dealership got season tickets. They got season tickets. They got a program, a picture in the program of which had me standing in the parking lot by cars, like come visit, our dealership and that. And then there was a 30-second radio commercial. So a bunch of time had gone by, and the Kings had called up, and so they called me because, I was a point of contact. And they said, Daryl, like nobody from your advertising company has come to cut the commercial yet. So I said to my boss, the president of the company, I said to him, Tom, I said, we've lost out on a bunch of games. I said, we got this 30-second commercial. I said, how come our people that do our advertising haven't put it together yet? So I guess he had called them and they gave him some, runaround type of story. And he said, well, why don't you go do it? I said, how the hell, what do I know? I said, I've never done a commercial or do anything like that. So that particular day that they made arrangements for me to go down, and I was going to meet Nick, who was doing the game, my partner right now. Right. He was doing the game at that time. And I was going to meet Nick before the game, like at 4:00, and they gave me a couple of tickets to the game. So I was going to cut the commercial at 4:00, then stay and watch the game. When I got down there at 4:00, Mike Allison was doing the color at that time with Nick. And so I said to Nick at the time, I said, hey, where's Mike? And he goes, oh, he just got a call from home this afternoon. Something had happened. He's making arrangements to fly back. He's going to come do the game tonight, and then he's going to fly out tomorrow morning. I'm not sure if it was a funeral or somebody was ill. I don't know all the details or anything like that. I said, oh, geez, that's awful. And then I was, just kind of sitting there, like, on the table, just as we were getting ready to do the commercial. And I look at the schedule and whether the Kings were going to play the next night or the night after that. I said, hey, Nick, I said, who's doing the game with you, on Thursday? He goes, oh, my God. He said, I hadn't even thought of that. I said, well, I'll do it with you. And he goes, really? I said, yeah. I said, I'll do it with you. I said, who are you playing? And it was St. Louis. So, he gave me a program. He said, okay. So that's how I did my first game.
That's crazy. You're just I'll sign myself up.
Got this.
And then Alex, a couple of days ago, was telling a whole backstory, going to school and all that, and then I'll do it.
I went to the school of hard knocks.
Yeah, it
Nice.
works. It
Oh,
does.
it's great.
Oh
Good
man,
JG reference.
that's
You know,
crazy.
speaking of being the color commentator on radio with Nick Nixon for so many years, what's it like working with him as a matter of fact?
Well, I mean, it's great. You know, I was fortunate enough when I played. Nick was doing our games at that time. He was down in New Haven when I was in New Haven. So I knew of Nick from way back, and you know, my appreciation, you know, grew as as I got to work with him, you know, side by side. But you know, even when I was away from the game, I would still be listening to him, you know, on the radio. You know, because I always still stay connected with the Kings, even when I was in the car business. You know, I'd be traveling home and I'd put the games on, so I was listening to him. So when I finally got into the booth with him, it was just like, you know, it kind of come natural. I mean, I'd listened to him for so long that, you know, I kind of, you know, had a good idea, good sense of his flow in that, and he did a great job at, you know, at pulling me along and, you know, giving me pointers here and there, and you know, he still does to this day. That I'm forever grateful, thankful, and indebted to him for that. You know, he's a Hall of Fame broadcaster.
Right.
You know, he does an incredible job, and he's definitely had a huge influence and an impact on my broadcasting career for sure.
Indeed.
Crazy.
Definitely one of the best. You guys are, all, Kings fan aside, you guys are, one of the best in the radio. Indeed.
Appreciate that.
And Mr. Evans, speaking of, you being on the radio, as a fan of your suits, we think you should be on TV because you are fashionable. Now, can you explain what got you or how it came about getting into the suit game? What are some of your favorite suits? And my question for you, do you have a suit for every holiday of the year?
We got it
Well,
now.
well, I'll never forget when I was young and playing junior hockey. Even probably prior to junior, like playing junior B. I'll never forget buying my first suit. It was a 3-piece suit, and I'll never forget how good it felt to wear like a nice suit. I mean, not to say that it was I don't even remember. I mean, it wasn't anything crazy expensive or anything like that. I mean, whatever allowance or we were able to put together or whatever, put some scraps together. Parents helped me out.
No laces for suit. No laces for suit.
That's right. That's where I saved it all. But I remember putting that first suit on and how special it felt. And then when I got to junior, being away from home, I always, when my mom and dad would come down and watch the games, whether it was at home or on the road, and you always wanted to look good and make them proud. And and they did a great job at supporting me. And then by the time, when I turned pro, I remember down in New Haven, my first year and coming up to LA, at that time, I remember wearing a black fedora down in New Haven, big black fedora with a little red feather in it, 3-piece suits, leather coat with a fur collar, coming to Los Angeles, getting, leather pants and leather tie.
I would kill to have that photo.
So would I. But, and then after that, it was, it was something, like I say, I've always enjoyed, getting dressed. And then probably about 20 or so years ago, as I started 25 years, maybe not, probably 25 years ago, maybe, when I started getting, more of my suits made, the options became greater because now you could select cloth. And I always liked something that, a little bit of a shine to it, just something that was a little bit different. So, that just kind of evolved from there. And then in 2012, we had one of the, from our ice crew, one of the girls who was on our ice crew, she was going to fit them down in downtown LA,
Right.
at the Fashion Institute there.
Yeah.
And,
It was Deborah, right?
no, Brooke.
Brooke? Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. So she had graduated, and I said, men's clothes, right? She goes, oh, no, women's clothes. And I said, if you ever get into men's suits, I said, let me know. I said, I'll be your first customer. And so a little bit of time went by, and she was staying in contact with my son a little bit, and she was at my Stanley Cup party in 2014, and shortly thereafter that she got a job working at a men's clothing area store, and she said, "Oh, she says, can I bring you some cloths?" And she brought some, beautiful cloths, traditional pinstripe and, some different check and things like that. They were really nice. I said, "Oh, those are great." I said, "But I said I'm looking for, something a little bit different, something just." And she goes, it was just kind of like, she's looking at me, and it's just almost kind of like Dumb and Dumber, when they walked in with the orange
Yeah.
blue tuxedo.
Yes.
It
Oh,
was
man.
like that kind of a light switch went off, and she says, "I'll see you next week." I said, "Okay." And a bunch of days go by, and she comes up. She goes, "I got some cloths I want you to take a look at." She'd gone down to the fashion district downtown and picked out some cloths, and I mean, some wild looking cloths. And I guess my eyes just lit up. And I said, like, that's it.
That's the one.
So she's my suit maker now, and she's got her own little company. It's called Gentleman's Jersey, and she's been making my suits, pretty much since then. So, we get it to a point now where, I mean, she's got great vision and some great ideas, how to put the stuff together. And I even get a kick out of it now. I even go into the to the cloth store now, and I pick out the materials as well. And when I show up in there, they're sitting there shaking their head like, because they think we're shopping for her. And no, it's just for me. I'm like, what? But as for the holiday suits, I used to get them all made at the holiday suits. So, and then I started to donate like suits from the holidays, have people bid on them, and and raise money for our foundation. And then, so what I did now is, because we have so many different theme nights, if I don't have them made, if something comes up real quick, then I'll just go to one of those sites that I can get a suit, and I'll put it on it, and we'll donate it and raise some money for our charity. But
That's awesome.
I like it, for every different occasion we have, I like to wear something that'll go along with that theme.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about you, Nixon, Faust, and Fox all wear the same suit and just match for one game?
Well, it definitely wouldn't be one of my suits. That's for sure.
Right.
That's great. I think one of my favorite ones was your Vegas you used to wear at Frozen Fury.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you play the
Well,
Knights, or when we play the Knights too.
Yeah, when we first, like, before the the Golden Knights came about, I had suits made. Like, I had one that was with a deck of cards, because we used to have a poker tournament down there,
Right.
Luke's
Yeah.
poker
Oh, I
tournament.
remember that
Yep.
one very well.
Yeah. So I raffled that one off there, and then I've got one with the roulette wheel and all that, and then there's the tuxedo style one with the dice on it. So yeah, those ones are cool. I like those ones.
Yeah, those are cool. So, Daryl, within the Kings organization, you spend a lot of time doing hockey development with the youth. And what do you enjoy most about that, besides spending time with Army? And what are some of your favorite experiences with that?
Well, I think my, like, what I like about that most is, is developing Army. No, no, you know what? That's been something. I remember when I first came to LA, and I remember the very first camp that we did. It was at the rink on Western in Torrance there, Skating Edge they call it now, and
Yep.
it was a Kings camp then.
Yeah, it's actually up the street from my house right now. Actually,
It's
not too
okay.
far from
All
here.
right, you know exactly where I'm talking. And we went in
Yeah, it's
there.
my local rink.
Yeah, and then we did a camp that summer in up in Blue Jay as well. And I remember the kids that were on the ice, the equivalent of a, like, let's say maybe a 14, 15-year-old kid here was the equivalent of a 7 or 8-year-old kid that I grew up with in Toronto. And so I said to myself at that time, like, if I'm ever around here long enough, or whatever be the case, I'd love to help develop the game of hockey out here. And so it's probably something that it's always been in the back of my mind. So I got involved with Kings Camp. I think Kings Camp now, we've done it 32 years. I've been involved in at least 25 of them, if not more. And I've when we built the rink in El Segundo, I kind of spearheaded that. And then it's been the last few years, a handful of years now that that Derek's come on board, and he has that type of passion as well. He does a great job. He's got a lot of energy, and I think those are the key things. I when I look at a camp and I go on the ice, whether it's even at a school for playing street hockey or ball hockey with kids, I don't look for the kid that's the best. I'm looking for the kid that's kind of outside that circle that you need to pull into that circle. And that is so gratifying to be able to see that, to be able to, help somebody, have some fun doing something that maybe they never thought they could do or were embarrassed or too shy to do. So teaching never gets old, whether it's kids, boys, girls, men, women. We've even played sled hockey. Been out there with the Olympic sled teams, and been schooled by those guys. So it's just a matter of, I think it probably all comes down to to giving back. Whether you're dealing with the kids at the YMCA, the schools, the inner city kids that haven't been exposed to our game for a lot of years. It's just making our game, people more aware of our game, and what a great game it is, and that it is something that everybody can do. You don't necessarily have to play it on the ice. It doesn't have to become that. We all grew up playing on the streets,
Right.
and even after being drafted, we go back home in the summer and we played ball hockey tournaments as players drafted into the NHL. And we had some great times with that. So I'm just happy to see the game grow, and to see where it is today. How many more rinks we have out here? Kids being drafted from California into the NHL. Girls hockey. I'm the president of the LA Lions, which is our girls program.
Right.
It's great to see that. I help out with the high school league, sitting in there as a commissioner of the high school league position of both, which Jim Fox and Derek Armstrong have had as well. So it's just great being involved in the game, and just it never gets old, and it really just helps bridge the gap between the fans and our game, and the young kids coming up, and giving them a chance to play our game, because it's not going to be long before this is going to be a hotbed. You look at how many teams now in the American Hockey League that are out here playing in California. High school leagues getting better. One of these days, we're going to see hockey at Division 1, 2, or 3 at UCLA, USC. I coached UCLA for a couple of years in the Pac-8. We won the Pac-8 championship. So it's just great to be able to be part of helping the game grow. And like I say, Derek's got that same type of passion. He's got a lot of energy, and he's got a couple of young boys that he's grown up with over these last few years, that he's been able to spend some time with them on the ice, and that's great, because now you see those guys with that same type of energy, and it becomes contagious, and something that you just try to breed.
So I know you mentioned that you've been involved for this at least 25 years, going on around 32 years. So you've obviously had a heavy hand as far as developing this youth hockey community within Southern California. But being a broadcaster, you travel all over the country. You travel to a lot of different cities. What is it? Do you see the same kind of stuff happening in other Sunbelt cities as far as a youth hockey development, or do they take the same overall programs and those kind of things to develop it all over the country as opposed to just here locally?
Well, I think when you look at like what we've done, we've got camps and clinics going on all over the place now. Derek's been a big part of going over to China the last few years and running camps over there. And you probably talked a little bit about that when we played over in China. Derek and I were both there, and we did some clinics with some of the kids there, and that was a great experience. It's amazing. You've got the language barrier, but you get on the ice, all of a sudden it's just watching and trying, and you've got a common language between you, and that was such a great little educational piece right there. The camps that we do here. You look at Vegas, who's been down in the league now for a few years. We've been going to Vegas playing Frozen Fury there. We played there for like 25 years.
Right.
And probably, I want to say for the last, it was probably 10 years, I'd be doing camps and clinics down there, both youth camps and adult camps. So the LA Kings play such a huge part in a team being in Vegas. So now that, you see that foundation laid there, and they've taken that, and I know, the people that were managing the rink there, their practice facility, and the way that they're growing their program. So it is something that, you want to share that stuff amongst each other. Kings are going to different states. They've been over in different parts of Nevada, Montana, just to continue to keep growing the game, and we'll continue to keep doing so. And I think more and more of the teams are doing that, and it's a win-win-win for our game, because it just gets more sticks in the kids' hands at a younger age, And you give them the option and the choice as to whether it's something that they want to pursue, as opposed to being when they're 15, 16. Oh, I wish I could have tried that when I was 5 or 6.
Yes. Now speaking of 50 or 60, and either age you're not, Mr. Evans, you're 30. That's what I'm
Right.
coming from. But of course, playing the game of hockey, you kind of do have to be in great shape. Now, you're in great shape. Can you kind of explain to us hooligans who are not in great shape what your daily workouts are? How do you stay in such great shape? How do you look so young? And please help us, please.
Well, I always connect myself with people with bad eyesight because that way they always think I look good.
I had 20/20 vision. Just throw it out.
Oh, jeez. Now, I think, after playing, for such a long period of time, growing up through youth hockey and then playing professionally, it just becomes part of your cloth. I know when I got away from the game at the end of my career and I got involved in the automobile business and stepped away from the game, that was probably the first time in my life that I have stepped away from working out as well and keeping a routine and a regimen going. And I remember the one year, my first year away from the game, I worked 363 days that year at my job, and it took its toll on my body. And just starting to, my kids were just starting to be born in that. And it was something that I figured, I got to get a grip back on this. And so 24-hour fitness was just coming out, and I didn't want to take away from time being with them. So I used to start going before work. So I'd start going to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning and get my workouts in. And then starting to travel, and when I start doing the job with on the radio and that, you go to some places that didn't have adequate equipment or didn't have the equipment that you're looking for and the type of workout you were doing. So I put together myself a routine that I could do everywhere, anywhere, at any time. And it involves, so I'm going to complete my 9th straight year of running a minimum of 3 miles a day, every day.
Oh my goodness.
When he said 3,000 miles, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I had three straight years that I ran over 2,000 miles. Wow. Which is about 5.5 a day. But I'm coming up on, I'll finish 9 years here in a few months of running a minimum of 3 miles a day. I'm in 4 years now.
Oh, you're fine. You're good.
Yeah.
You want to go run real quick, guys, just to let everybody know.
The flash.
That last little flash seconds, he went from Redondo Beach to Westchester.
He ran a quick 5K right there.
So then I wanted to change things up a little bit. So for 3 straight years, I did 300 push-ups a day. So it's about 110,000 push-ups a year in those.
Oh my goodness.
And then I incorporated jump rope. So I started off doing 1,500 a day, which is, I think it's 547,500 a year. So I did that for a couple of years, and then I wanted to expand it to 1 million to see if I could get to 1 million. And I did that, got to 1 million, then 1.25 million. And this year, because of the quarantine, the pandemic, I'm going to try and give it 1.5 million, but I'm going to come up on 1 million here within the next week to 10 days. There's a couple of days, like I said, I've done 12,500, but I try to do a minimum of 3,000, 3,500, 4,000 a day.
That's insane. That's insane.
So it's just,
I've done 500 chicken nuggets in a year.
Well, and that's the only reason that I do that exercise, because I do that every day.
Now, Mr. Evans, as you with your workouts and as you talk about this, what made you or kind of get fans involved with your run club? Like, how did that come about? And how much do you enjoy that interacting with fans? Also, trying to get us to come wake up at when it's still dark to come run with you. Because I
8
would.
o'clock, dark. Come on, take that night mask off. No, you know what? It goes way back when we first started. When Staples Center opened, we decided we were going to do like a 5K, and so we used to go down there. So they knew that I was doing some running at the time and that. So they asked me to if I would host it. So I said, yeah, sure. And then after a period of time, I said, we should put together like a little bit of a run club. Some of the people would, they're, saying like, hey, do you do any more of this kind of stuff? So, I talked to our group, and eventually we put it together. And I don't know exactly how many years the run club's been going, but it continues to keep growing. And then now for a couple of years, we've been doing a bike club as well. So we do a run club on Sundays and a bike club on Saturdays. And then, when we run into this, this pandemic, we put together a virtual fitness club, and it's great. The numbers are growing. We've got people from basically from all over the world, different parts of the world that are doing it with us. And I think it's a great way to connect. We usually get together, have a 5-10 minute stretch at the beginning. We usually go out and do about an hour of exercise. You do your own pace, whether you want to walk, run, walk your dog, bring your your grandchildren, your children, whatever it is. There's no pressure, but you find that you pull each other along, and it's just great to see these people coming out of their shells. Pardon me, out of their shells. When they first came, they were so shy in that, but now they have another inner family that now that they go to games with and things like that. So that's been great to see. And then the people, they end up, competing in races. They do our 5K, they do other 5Ks. We have a couple of people that are doing a 5K a week now. And it's, we've had people that have had, heart surgery, bypass surgery, different type of things. And it, lost 40, 50 pounds, and, elderly people, younger people. It's something that, it leaves a good impression upon everybody, and it just puts you in a good frame of mind. And I look forward to it. It never gets old. We'll get back from a road trip at 2:33 in the morning, and I'll meet that group first thing the next morning. Wow. At 8 o'clock. We've been on the road, and they look forward to it. And then usually at the end of each session, we'll have a little Q&A. Like we'll talk about what's going on with the Kings, what's going on around the NHL. Like right now, we'd be talking around the playoffs if we were together, and it's good. And I know they enjoy it, but believe me, I have just as much fun with it as they do.
That's good.
Speaking of, like, you were talking about the numbers, your goals that you're constantly setting and raising, do you find it difficult on the road to like maintain your workouts or your running or anything like that?
Not at all. I'll never forget this year walking out. I think it was either October, November, and we were in Winnipeg. It was about -20 with the wind chill.
Oh.
I remember walking out the front door, and I had my shorts on. With I had like a little sweat top, like a windbreaker sweat top on top, and then I brought my towel from my room that I had wrapped around my neck and had it up over my head.
Oh my goodness!
And the bellman was looking at me like, "Where the hell are you going?" And that was as chilly as it's been, and the wind was just howling. And I'll never forget coming back. My mustache was frozen, and all that. My legs were like pink but I got my run in.
That's amazing.
And then on the other extreme, I remember when Ron Hextall, when he was with us before on his first run, when he was Dean's assistant, during the playoffs when we were in Phoenix playing against Arizona. We'd be running. Yeah. It was 112 degrees out. We'd be out there running, doing it there. So you get one extreme to the other, but it builds character.
Fond memories of that series.
You never consider like the hotel gyms or anything like that? It's all.
Well, I'll go to the gyms. Like again, I don't want to depend upon them because I will not. I mean, I've been in my hotel room like 2 o'clock in the morning if I haven't finished my workout. Like if I didn't get my jump ropes, and I'll be jumping ropes. I feel sorry for the guy that's underneath me because he's probably wondering what the hell's going on in my room.
What's going on?
Here's some clown jumping rope. But no, it's I will not let it happen. I get it done everywhere I go. Some of the gyms are great. Some of them have more equipment than others, and I enjoy going to the gym as well, and using some of the equipment from time to time. But I wanted to put myself together a workout that I was not dependent or relied on anything other than myself. And myself, I know what I can do and what I'm capable of doing, and I'm happy with that. And if I can expand, from time to time, from day to day, I'll do that as well.
Speaking of exercising, Daryl, we're going to go to the other extreme. We're going to talk about eating right now. I got a couple members from the Booster Club on the chat here, and they're asking, when the pandemic is over, will you be doing your choppy barbecue with them?
Of course. That's we were just talking about that one as well, because we usually do it in the office as well. Like, I'll do a choppy Q usually once a month, and cook for the office there. So it's amazing how those have grown as well. We have a lot of fun when we go do our camps up in Santa Barbara, and that we now. Have you got the pucks? You got the sticks? No. Have you got the barbecue? That's the big question. So we take the barbecue with us, but yeah, connecting with the Booster Club, we've done that now, and that's enjoyable as well. And I enjoy, flipping burgers and, rolling the sausages and putting a smile on everybody's face.
So
We even did it. We even did it when we did it for the NHL for the media when we played Chicago. I think it was in 2014. We had the entire media in the back of Toyota there in El Segundo, and I cooked
nice.
cooked for that whole group.
that's awesome. So as far as before we wrap things up here, I wanted to ask you a question. If you're keeping up, obviously, with the playoffs this year, what team are you personally rooting for, and what would be your pick as far as your prediction of the Cup winner?
I think that the team that is, and this probably goes back to the beginning, even before it got started, without jumping on a bandwagon, I think Vegas is built the right way. I think they've got a really good chance at winning. They've got guys that have won. You add a guy like Alec Martinez to that team. That's a huge bonus for that team, and I know it's had an impact on their games as well. I think they've got a really good opportunity. I think their depth, their size, they don't rely upon one or two guys. It makes them a real tough opponent. Vancouver has shown a lot. I think this has been a huge step for them. And again, you look at the players that they added. Guys that won the Cup with the Kings, and Pearson and Toffoli. They're looking to help create that type of an environment for their young superstars that they got coming. And they've got a great team. I think they're one of those teams that's an upcoming team. Interesting to see Colorado battle back against Dallas.
Right.
Colorado was one of the teams that I thought would be one of the top couple here in the West Conference. They took last year what they learned, and are trying to apply it this year. But they've got some great skill there. They're built for today's NHL. They're dealing with some injuries right now. But if I look at the West right now, I would say of the teams that are still playing, Vegas and Colorado are probably the two teams to look at there. And then on the other side, Tampa seems to be gaining a little bit of traction. I don't write off the New York Islanders. I think Barry Trotz is a great coach, and he's got some good young players there as well. It comes down to a couple of bounces here and there. Philadelphia's got some young players that are making some big strides. A little bit surprised to see the way Boston went down, but I think when it's said and done there right now, it's probably going to look like Tampa and the Islanders, and whether or not Tampa's able to get Stamkos back, and any of the other guys that are injured, see how banged up they are. That should be a really interesting series. But if I was going to pick one team, probably right now it would probably be Vegas.
Oh, that hurts us.
Well, we wanted to thank you, Daryl, for coming on our podcast, joining us this evening. It's been
holy God!
awesome.
Just because I didn't pick your team, now you're throwing me off.
We gotta go. We gotta end it now. We gotta end it.
We're gonna cut it off now before you said Vegas.
I had 3 more hours booked aside. What's going on?
Let's go. Let's do it. But yes,
Actually, one quick question I think fans were asking, Daryl. What was your favorite arena to broadcast out of, and your favorite arena to play out of?
I think oh wow, that's a tough one. The original 6 buildings are always special. I remember going into Chicago Stadium the first time and watching people be in the stands there, sitting in the stairs.
Madison.
Yeah. I mean, the energy in that building was incredible. I mean, they announced 15,000 people, but there's probably 75,000 people in that place. They broke every fire law and everything in that place, but the energy in there was incredible. The old Maple Leaf Gardens, the old Forum in Montreal, those are special buildings. The Boston Garden was special because it was so different. It was a smaller building, and those buildings, the energy. Everybody
built
was
up out there too.
What's that?
So the fog building up out there, like around this time of year for the playoffs.
That was part of it. Today, I think there's a lot of similarities between the buildings. Still, when you look at like when and again, probably some of it has to do because we've been there in those environments. But playing in Chicago, like when the Kings defeated Chicago there in that 7th game in overtime when Martinez scored there and defeated them in that building, like. That the energy in that building. You're looking at 22,500 people. Montreal gets like that as well. there's a lot of great buildings, and there's so many great fans in these different cities that have so much passion for their teams. But I would probably say, Chicago, Toronto, Montreal to play in as for myself, having, watched those buildings growing up. Montreal was the building that I was drafted in. And then now to broadcast in, we get some, some tougher broadcasting locations in some of the rinks. But there's a lot of rinks again that I think a lot of it has to probably similar to when playing, like Chicago, always special going there. Montreal, Toronto, Madison Square Garden in New York, Philly's great too. Now that they've turned the corner, and these new buildings, the energy in Vegas is incredible. I can't wait to go to Seattle to see what with that environment it's going to be like there. Yeah, it's going to be like it's
fun.
Vegas T-Mobile reminds me of a bigger Staples.
Staples, yeah.
It's exactly. I mean,
well, you look at. I mean, T-Mobile is it's AEG, so it's it's same group of people with same thoughts, but they did an incredible job there, and a lot of the people that are working in Vegas, a number of them have worked back with us and at Staples Center and other places, and it's great to see what they've done there and the environment that they've created. It goes to show you the health of our game of hockey and the ability to be able to grow it when you can go into a non-traditional market like that. Again, things fell into place for them really nicely there right off the bat, but they've done a great job at making that a really solid foundation for a number of years to come. And their youth programs are growing. And, when they get their, a minor league team and maybe they'll play out of Nevada and that, it's going to be good.
Yes. So do you miss Frozen Fury?
You know what? That was a great experience, especially the years. And, I mean, things evolved, and I don't know the players at the end, it was a little bit tough, like to go through that gauntlet. But I remember those guys walking through that. What an incredible feeling that was. What an experience for the fans to be able to be that close and for the players to be able to interact. That was special. We used to mark that one on the calendar all the time to be able to go there. And Frozen Fury always had a special time, and it brought people from everywhere. And Frozen Fury was one of the big reasons that probably a lot of people, when hockey was being talked about in Vegas, they got their first sampling of it going to Frozen Fury.
You're welcome, Clark County.
I mean, what hockey rink can you go to where they got a hot tub in the end zone?
And like the gauntlet alone, just the experience, just to get in, like you were saying, is
fun times.
Crazy.
I feel like I'm gonna binge watch some of those old gauntlet videos when we're done.
There you go. Where'd Rico go? Rico leave?
We lost Rico.
Well, like I'm saying,
he went to Vegas.
He was just with
He's like, all right, guys,
I'm gonna go get my own gauntlet right now.
Did he go on his run? Did he go?
There he is.
He's back.
He is. So how was your run, Rico?
Did a quick 10K on that one.
Exhausted.
Forgot to pay the cable bill.
When we get back up and swinging and the run club's going, you guys are going to have to come down for a run one day.
Yes.
We'll try.
I was actually thinking of
and he's gonna keep attendance too, and he's gonna make sure we are there.
He's gonna be running behind us. Behind us.
And you know what? And we'll celebrate right after. We'll go for chicken nuggets.
Oh, let's do it.
Yep.
And beer. So you have us there.
Well, thank you once again,
Stone
Daryl.
IPA, it's definitely
Oh my God.
Thank you once again, Daryl, for joining us today. It's been an awesome show. It was a blast talking to you today. So thank you for spending your evening with the Hooligans over here. We appreciate it.
Yes. My pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me on. We'll look forward to catching up with you again soon. Hopefully we're going to be talking about the Kings in the present, back playing and getting ready to get themselves back in the playoffs and take another shot at that cup.
Oh,
yes,
definitely.
We need those suits back, Mr. Evans.
You got that right.
Yes.
I forget how to put one on now. I'm gonna have to go learn how to do my ties.
YouTube.
I'm gonna have to start getting some clip-ons.
There you go.
where all goes.
All right.
Man.
Well, thank you, and we'll transition this way. Good.
Yes. Cool. Thank you, Mr. Evans. Have a good
Thank
night.
you,
guys.
Daryl. Thank you,
Have a
Daryl.
good night. Thank you.
See ya. There he is.
And we
Bam.
switch
Oh,
out.
never mind. Bustos. All right, let's end it.
We switch out Daryl for Bustos right here. You guys, awesome
Bustos.
interview.
Yes, awesome interview. A lot of knowledge from every standpoint of hockey, fashion, and
Health.
And exercise, health, and fitness.
Right.
And the fact that he says we have to be there, he knows all our names now. He knows all our names.
He knows who we
He's
are.
seen me countless
Bro,
times, so it's
he's
I think
got
I'm
my-
the only one. I think I'm the only one who gets an excuse.
No, we'll send him a picture
no
of you.
excuses. You're in the stew.
He's got my
DJ
email and phone number.
DJ's
damn it.
gonna send the Reface app to him.
Exactly.
Oh man,
I know. Now I feel like he put us on the spot. Now we got to do it.
we have to.
And
I'm
he's
cool,
gonna
I
be
can do it.
he's gonna be behind us with a whip.
He's
Run!
I'm doing the bike club. Screw you guys. I'm doing the bike
Hey,
club, man.
I am right with you on that one, Rico. Right with
Yeah,
you
I
on
got
that
you.
one.
You can ride the pegs, bro.
Right.
We put you on the pegs.
We got holding
how
your,
we do it.
holding your
Handlebars, bro.
shoulders.
Get on the handlebars. Come on, let's go.
I'm
Show
just
him how
gonna
we do it in the Harbor City area.
That's right.
I'm just gonna jump on his back and be like, hold on, and be like, run, run, run.
He's gonna be carrying me like Forrest Gump did Bubba. He's just gonna be like, run.
I got a find Bubba. But
Great.
boys, while we were on the phone,
I know.
Zoom call with Mr. Daryl Evans himself, we witnessed Game 7 over with the Rockets and the Thunder, and the Rockets took it 104-102.
Bustos, were you watching the game?
Wow.
I'm watching the Dodger game.
Yeah, the Dodgers. Well, we'll
I know they're
transition to
down
Dodgers
1-0
next.
heading to the bottom of the ninth inning.
We'll
Yeah,
transition-
with one out. Gavin Lux just grounded out. I'll give you. I'll tell you.
We'll talk about the Dodgers after. You guys want to talk
So-
about the Lakers? Let's talk about the Lakers.
Yeah. So matchup will be Lakers and Rockets Friday, game 1.
Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5. They're too big.
I actually think it'll be an interesting matchup. The
Yeah,
Lakers
be down there.
with Oklahoma City.
Lakers in 5, Josh.
Lakers-
I think Lakers would have destroyed Oklahoma City.
Yeah,
I think the Lakers are going to have a hard time with Houston.
To that about
I agree.
The Lakers are gonna avenge the
I'm gonna say
Dodgers.
this
in
about
this
every
series.
matchup they have.
He's like, oh, I don't know about this one. This one might be the one that
No,
does the
I
Lakers in.
The
Okay,
Lakers.
let's look at it this way, though. Okay, let's look at it this way. James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Ben Gordon, right?
Yeah,
Eric
they're gonna go
Gordon.
small on the Lakers.
Another Jet.
Hey,
Lakers-
DJ,
LA Clippers legend Eric Gordon, I might add.
DJ, who from Houston's gonna get hurt in this series?
I'm seeing a Westbrook rolled ankle, honestly. That's what I'm feeling.
Oh, he called that on game. He called that on game. Just saying.
It's gonna
Oh,
backfire, and then everyone's gonna come at me in the comments. Everyone's gonna be messaging like, you wished
did
it on
why?"
Westbrook, and now it happened to my boy AC instead. Notice I didn't name the other two. AC.
No, I think Houston's a matchup problem for the Lakers, right? But there's also another matchup problem with AD for Houston. So it's going to see which matchup is going to be more dominated.
Yeah.
Lakers in 5.
Nah, I think it's gonna. This might go 7.
I think it's going to be Lakers.
Don't be.
I think
surprised if
Lakers
it's
in
seven.
five.
7 though, right, Tommy? Lakers
Huh?
in 7, Tommy. Lakers
No,
in
I think
7.
Lakers in
I think
six.
it's gonna go like I think it's gonna go like I don't know how many overtimes, and they're just gonna call it a tie, and everyone goes home happy.
I think Lakers in 6.
Shut up,
Lakers
Booster.
in
It's
5.
it's funny whenever we have these episodes, like especially right now with Daryl, where there's like a bunch of big games going on. You got the Dodgers playing the Rockets, we're playing the Thunder for the matchup of playing the Lakers, and then also the Galaxy playing Portland. And wow, I know you're not that,
LA Galaxy.
Who?
but
I don't mind the
Galaxy are currently up 3-1 in the 76th minute. Yo, you guys, since the Galaxy have
Mookie
come
just
back.
Mookie just tied the game right now. It's a 1-1
Mookie
Dodger game.
Betts, thank you so much, Boston.
This is what happens when you have a live
Thank you
broadcast.
so much, Boston. Jared Carabas is dying inside right now.
Who?
I have no idea
The
what this
guy from a certain website we don't talk about.
What are you
He's all
talking about?
mad.
Then?
Bottom of the ninth, Mookie hit a solo shot.
Yep.
Nice.
Mookie Betts, ladies and gentlemen. That's Knox Kelly's favorite team.
Okay, so what are your final predictions for Rockets Lakers? DJ
Lakers
Lakers
five.
in what?
Lakers in 5. Staying
Chris
with
in
it.
5. Rico.
Sweep.
Wow.
That Mediterranean food got you all figured out.
Sweep.
And
Sweet.
Bustos, what do you say?
6.
Say it.
I
Lakers
got,
in 6.
Booster
I got
said
Rockets at 7.
Rockets in 7. You just have
Oh,
to. You
yeah.
can't go with this just
No.
one
You
time.
always
So,
go that way.
so Tommy, when are you gonna? So, how long before your knockoff Rockets jersey gets to your house soon?
It's gonna say El Rockeros.
Rockero.
Like, what are you even making up your own?
I can't
Spanish?
wait for him to flex that fake Yao Ming jersey in the group chat later.
Hey, leave my homie alone. Hey, but speaking of
Lifelong Rockets fan.
basketball, real quick, how it's crazy to think about how the Bucks,
Down
kinda-
0-2.
champions, favorite.
gosh.
Who says?
That Josh.
Oh
Sorry.
God, that's all I heard. Oh God.
What
I
happened?
mean, Arizona's trying to
God.
give away. Sorry, I'm watching this game, and Arizona's trying to give away this game to the Dodgers. It's kind of fun.
Hey,
Is
this
this
is
gonna
we're
ruin
on
my
the
win
live
video?
podcast, so we're talking about basketball here. So we appreciate if you jump on.
You asked me what happened.
So should we switch
He's
Daryl
speaking
Evans
in
back
tongues
in?
today.
Are we gonna
Yeah, let's
switch
go
Daryl
Daryl.
back?
Let's
Switch
take
his
Bustos
Rico,
out.
Rico, call
Or
him
mic
back.
him up.
Daryl.
Call him back.
All right,
Okay.
boys, go ahead, Deej. Oh, who kicked him out?
Mookie
kick
did.
him out.
Mookie kicked him out.
Bring the little guy back in. We need him. I got Bustos. I fought for you, dude.
I got Pete
Pardon the
muted.
interruption.
Yeah, no, I got muted by around the horn by the
Oh,
host.
around the horn.
Bustos, what do you do about it?
Okay,
Go,
so we made our basketball predictions. We made a big announcement on the episode Monday. On September 14th, we will have the one and only Mr. Bob Miller as a guest.
Yes.
So next week there'll be no show for Labor Day, but the following week will be the Bob Miller episode. So being that we don't have an episode for another 10 days or so, lots going to happen in that time, including the restart of the NFL.
Supercharged.
Are you ready for some football?
What's up? Super
Los Angeles.
Charger?
Whose ball is the devil?
He means he. I think someone mute this guy's mic because I'm
Yeah.
telling you, the food he
Yeah.
ate.
Hey, the
was
Dodgers won?
No,
No?
The Dodgers win.
the game is still on. It's one,
Okay, so
Look, Tommy trying to
of
talk.
course.
Tommy
Why am I muted?
Arturo LA just left us a comment saying Seager doubled winning run. Oh, I thought he doubled in the winning run.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
He hit a double and the winning run is currently at
I
second.
would-
My
I would
mistake.
have announced it.
You guys, I have to post the win
Boy,
video.
Arturo
Is this
coming
going to
through.
happen
Thank you.
live?
You might have to.
Is this going to be a live event? Has this never happened
Stop
before?
trying to mute me.
Well, no, we've done live. We've done live hockey.
Bring me
in,
some
like,
lumpia. That's all I asked for.
During
Okay,
an
so
episode?
let's talk about the football season.
Oh my
And
god.
please don't mute Tommy because we need a neutral.
This is where he thrives, so don't mute it. No, don't mute him.
We need him now.
He's been waiting to rant this for so long.
All right,
so
let's end the podcast now.
Okay, and you can too.
If
but
we
you
were-
don't-
Let's talk about football. How about the Galaxy? What are they up to?
Oh, yeah, we go. It's the Galaxy.
football de
They
Americano.
beat
The
LAFC.
Americano.
Beat LAFC. Beat San Jose. Currently beating Portland. I'm just saying, the Galaxy are back, boys.
I mean, we're like, you know what?
The Galaxy.
Regarding the G's, it's good that they're, it's. I'll take it. I'll take it. Seeing the G's, come back and starting to get things together. Should have been the case when this season started, but then again, the Ronas happened. So good to have a second chance.
So let's go back to actually football. Tommy, what's your round?
Oh,
Yeah.
let's go to football.
What's your rounds prediction? this
Gridiron
year?
football.
Are we going week by week? Are you guys gonna let
No,
me have this?
because we'll be here forever if we did that.
If you do it fast, just like week 1, Rams versus.
Well, hold up. Talk about your Chargers,
Be
Rico.
honest, too.
Talk about your Chargers, Rico.
Super Bowl champs this year?
9-7.
Have any of you guys seen Hard Knocks yet?
No.
Not Tommy.
I have not had a chance to watch it.
I
but
thought it was
need to.
muted.
I'm the only one.
I
I
said
need to watch it. I
9-7.
haven't
I
had a
watched
chance to
it.
watch.
I think
I
Eckler.
didn't watch last week's.
I think the Chargers defense are going to come up big this year because Bosa has his contract. They drafted a linebacker in Murray and
Derwin James is back uninjured.
well, Darren James is hurt again. No,
Yeah,
that's
I was gonna say, I'm like, are you sure about
Well, that's right, he
that
did got
Charger
hurt.
defense with,
Yeah, one
with
of your
Derwin
safeties
James
is
being
out
injured?
for like 6 to 8 months or something like that.
Yeah, he's pretty much done for the season. I think.
I
Again.
still think
Again,
Chargers
yeah,
defense is
right.
gonna be good though.
Yeah, because
We'll
you
see.
picked him in your
Again.
fantasy like a retard. Jesus.
Hey, special teams
Cooper
too.
Cup.
Yeah, Cooper Cup. Yes. Cooper Cup's great.
Wait,
Yeah,
what
he
was?
was-
I heard a rumor that Cooper Cup was hurt from Bustos.
Minor
Minor
ankle
injury.
injury.
What was it?
Who's Bustos? Who did you hear this injury from?
It
Sean
was been a
McVay.
minor injury.
Who?
Sean
That's
McVay.
right.
He said.
McVay. He's like from Sean McVay himself.
Oh my God, he meant Sean McVay.
Sean McVay's he's in a group chat with Sean McVay or something like that.
I think the Rams are gonna go either 10-6 or 9-7.
Yeah, they have a tough league. They're probably in the toughest league in NFL this
The
year.
division.
Yeah, the division.
They're in the league. They're in the NFL. The Niners are not even gonna win freaking 8 games probably.
No, the Niners will win 10 games in
yeah.
that
The
league.
Niners had another hyped year, and all they're gonna do is fall through the freaking ceiling and come back down to earth. Just
Tell me how you tell
Hey,
us.
you know why?
Tell
You know
us how
why?
you really feel, Tommy.
You know
Really.
why? Because you guys have the same defensive coordinator. You guys had one good year, but the prior year you guys got smoked by everybody. So one good year, and then everyone's
We'll
gonna
see.
figure them out. And then
We'll see.
Jimmy G is a freaking mediocre quarterback.
Well, we'll see how the running game is since he got rid of Beretta. If he can stay
Bustos,
healthy.
are you a LA fan? He said Beretta. Who's your running back? I don't even know. Who's your quarterback? Jimmy.
Right now, it's
Jimmy G. Who the hell is Jimmy G?
who's Jared Goff?
The real
Number one pick?
JG. The real
goodness.
JG.
Mute him.
Number
Yeah.
1 pick in the draft one year.
Noted
Yeah, get
San
him, Bustos.
Francisco Giants fan Jared Goff, who wished evil on Yasiel Puig, who's innocent and is a saint.
Noted
And
San
where's Yasiel
Francisco
Puig?
fan.
Yeah, look what Puig is now.
Then
He's a
had the
saint.
audacity to
I
throw
love
the
Yasiel
pick
Puig
at
is a
our Dodgers
saint.
game.
Christian,
First, Jared
don't-
Goff wished injury on him. Shame, Tommy.
Christian, don't make
Shame.
us bring your Shanghai Rams picture with your Rams jersey on or your Chargers jersey on.
And I
either.
love how Christian's
Oh, yeah.
dogging on Goff for liking a San Francisco team when he himself is defending
Yes,
a San
I,
Francisco team.
Oh, yep.
Yes, I know.
Mhm.
It makes
I'm going to be hypocritical,
No,
boys.
yeah,
I'm gonna be
exactly.
hypocritical.
zero logic in that.
If
But
there's ever a
But-
time for me to have no logic whatsoever, the time is now.
Rico, speaking of teams, what do you think? How do you think the Chargers are going to do this year? Give your prediction. And how far do you think Tyrod Taylor is going to stay the starting quarterback before they start Justin Herbert?
Half of the year.
So you're going to
I
go.
go. Actually, I agree with Rico
Probably,
here.
probably 5-6 weeks. I think
Now,
that's
I
good.
go-
a short leash on Tyrod Taylor, like how short of a leash do you think? Because I understand they played with the Bengals week 1. Do you think they're going to run
Yeah.
through the Bengals or kind of have a hard time getting adapted to the offense with Tyrod?
It
And
really
Tyrod knows the
depends.
offense.
It depends how the defense is. Again, with James hurt now, depending how the linebackers run, and with the offense having a new quarterback and not the Philip Rivers quarterback, we gotta see how the connection is between them and Slayer, Allen, and all them.
Yeah, and then
Tyrod
also
knows
that
the
too,
offense.
but you have
Tyrod's played in Buffalo too with this
you
offense.
you're going from Philip Rivers, who was not a non-mobility quarterback, to Tyrod Taylor, who could run the ball.
Two mobile quarterbacks.
To
now.
who could run the ball. Now, do you think with coming from the offense, they're going to change their scheme and
I
kind
think they are.
the
I think because
options?
I think they're gonna have a lot of more options. Speaking of options, especially with how they experimented with Eckler last year. When
Mhm.
Melvin Gordon came back, they started using him as like a catching receiver after. So I
Yeah.
think the receiver role, you're going to get more receivers, but then catch them by surprise because Eckler can run also. Good pick, by the way, Bustos, on your fantasy team for that. Good choice.
Also,
I think
Tyrod,
he's a dark horse, bro.
Team.
Also-
in the second round, no, never.
I am late second round.
It doesn't matter. You picked Austin Eckler in a second round of a
Well,
fan-
it's a PPR league, which 1 point per pass catch.
Okay, so was Julio Jones available? Michael Thomas?
No, he was
available?
gone.
Hopkins
Gone.
available?
Gone.
Dude, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
They're all gone. I had the 28th pick of the draft. It's all the good receivers were gone.
Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes.
Well, quarterbacks are not valued in these fantasy football drafts no more.
So
That is true. Unless you're Patrick Mahomes. That's
Yeah,
about it.
unless you're Patrick Mahomes, which was gone.
Unless you're Patrick
dude,
Mahomes.
I would love to. I would love to be in his fantasy league. I would destroy all of them.
Yeah, you say
I
that
bet.
all the time.
I win my leagues too. So
Tommy just
back
went
it up.
commit literal
I
murder
could,
against
I,
Bustos.
I could back it up. I win
Oh,
my
by the way,
league.
the Dodger game went extra innings.
Why do they all have suits
Bustos.
on?
Damn.
Yeah, my suit.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I agree though with Rico. Tyrod can be a interesting change.
If he
For
doesn't do good, he'll be switched out by half of the season.
yeah, but also
Yeah.
the one thing about Tyrod, no one forgets, he doesn't make many mistakes. He's led the league in least amount of interceptions when he was as a starter.
You guys,
We'll have to see.
True.
last
It's hard to see
episode.
without preseason too. So we gotta go by week.
Real quick, Chargers picks. What do you guys think?
They're going 0-16. Okay, so
Wow, all the Rams are going to catch the Ronas according to Hard Knocks.
wow.
15-1. You'll give them a one
Even their cheerleaders.
Leave them out of there.
Why do you gotta be like that, Rico?
Even the mascot.
Before
Even
we
the
make our
mascot.
predictions, before I forget, because we forgot last episode, we gotta have a word from our sponsors. I accidentally ended the episode before doing it last episode, and as soon as the episode ended, all the guys was like, "You forgot the sponsors." I was
Just like you must be ended.
we,
man,
we
Yeah,
lost
yeah,
$1 million that week.
we lost everything that week. We had to restart.
Why do you think we have photo edited suits? Because we don't have money to buy real suits this episode.
It's funny because it's true. First, shout out the one and only Big Nick's Pizza in San Pedro, California. Friends of the podcast. They're open for, what was it? Takeout and delivery.
Take out on delivery. Yes.
They have delicious stuff. Check them out. Also, don't forget about Rose Cremation Services in Bellflower, California. Oh my God. They can't see it. They can't see the background right now. I know they're seeing the Rose Cremation. We'll bring it out right now. But yeah, complete cremations for $9.95. Check them out. Located in Bellflower, 562-804-0404. Last shout out. Don't forget, word on the street. 10% off your next order when you use promo code podcast. These guys are changing their virtual backgrounds
Don't make me go to my
while
hot
our
tub
commercials are playing.
I want to go to my hot tub picture.
No.
No.
Check it out. Promo code podcast, 10% off, hooligansports.net. You guys.
I mean, you could use 10% if you use podcast, but if you use the code word CDA, you get 20% off.
Not only that,
I'm working on it to
you-
get 21% for Tommy's sake.
If you
but,
use
you know.
promo code Tommy, not only will you get 20% off, I'm assuming, correct, business owner DJ? Yes.
Yes.
But when you do that, you will also help me and my family buy diapers.
Wow.
It's like, come on, y'all. I got kids.
I got mouths to feed.
I'm not even going to compete with that one.
I can't. There's nothing I can do. Tommy wins.
Wow, Tommy just beat all these guys.
All right, so
Bustos just doesn't want to give anyone a discount. Is what it is.
he's stingy. with his
If you
money.
use code Bustos, you have to pay an extra 20%. There's a 20% tax.
That's
how I
why.
roll.
Hey, that's why I try to run the business side here. Sometimes.
That's what he does. Bustos is like, we need new microphones.
Oh my god.
Charge
Charge $10 extra.
Hit everyone with a podcast tax.
No, not that.
He's like,
You know who wouldn't hit?
Hey.
You know who wouldn't hit anybody with a podcast tax?
said-
Carol Baskin. That's
He said, you're in Bellflower. The taxes are higher over there.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, he was.
Sorry, guys.
Yes.
All right.
I don't think we'll be talking about these.
Okay, quick predictions. Rams, Chargers. Obviously, no one cares about the Niners because they're not a SoCal team. So, DJ, Rams predictions record.
I'm gonna go with Tommy on this one, 16-0. No, I'm gonna go. I liked your original pick of 9-6. I'm hoping 10-7.
9-7.
Or 10-6. I'm gonna go 9-7.
Yeah. Chargers.
I honestly don't know. Okay, so I have been watching.
realistic.
Okay, I have been watching Hard Knocks. I've been keeping up with it.
I'd say 9-7.
And honestly, I'm more impressed watching the Chargers on Hard Knocks than I was going into it. Having said that, though, I think that they're gonna go 8-8,
Okay.
500 club.
I go with the Rams. Obviously, 10-6. Best case scenario, if they split the division matchups with Seattle and with San Francisco. The Chargers, it's tough to say because you would hope they'd beat the Raiders twice. You 2-0. They beat Denver twice. 4-0.
Denver's actually not bad. Don't sleep on Denver. They're the sleeper
Broncos,
team.
are you talking? You have the talking stick? You don't have the talking stick. You're not next.
Don't have a talking stick.
Right.
And then they're going to lose at Chiefs twice. So, but I really made Chargers like DJ said, maybe 9-7, 10-6.
I'm thinking 9-7.
Yeah, it just depends. Who does AFC West play within the NFC?
NFC South.
NFC South. Yeah, they do play
Brady,
NFC
right?
South. Yeah, they can. That's a tough division to get across a league with. So I'm saying 9-7. Christian.
Regarding the bowl, obviously, since we just mentioned the Niners, another story for another time. But keeping it local for the AFC, the Chargers, I have them going. About the same, 9-7, maybe 10-6 if they're lucky. Realistically, 9-7.
15-1.
And your team of the Rams?
Regarding
Are you writing this down?
The Rams, regarding the Rams, 10-6, maybe 11-5.
Damn, he gave him the. That's
like
a better
this.
record.
You didn't that much
I like
credit.
it. I
Wow,
like it.
Hey, you know why? You know why?
I'm
'Cause
trying.
you put
All
that
right,
jersey
yeah,
on.
I don't.
That
I
jersey
don't
run
like
the
the
good.
Rams, but I'm. No, I'm
You
not.
don't
I'm
like
not
them.
showing-
You love them.
I like your style,
No, I
Christian.
don't.
I like your
All
style.
right, all right, put Christian on mute so he can't say anything else. Go ahead, Bustos.
So we
Both teams,
can't change
I
it.
think both teams will go 9-7.
Both teams 9-7.
This guy is
Yeah,
so
I
Switzerland,
actually think
dude.
Tyrod.
Dude, we also like gave it like a Y and then 9-7. Okay, bye.
Well, I think 9. Well, the Rams. I'm questioning their running game, and that's why they're not going to go 10-6.
No, DJ.
DJ,
No.
can I see that picture? then?
No.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me see,
No.
Deej. For all Christians fans out there, let me see, Deej, please. Whoa! Is that a Rams jersey? Christian.
All right. So
No,
I'll
no.
own it.
Mute,
No,
mute
no.
him.
Mute him! Mute him! Mute him! Mute him!
Mute him. Mute him.
Really, you're gonna mute me. You're really
Yes.
gonna mute me. I'm not even trying to say anything bad.
He's gonna say, well,
Actually.
actually,
All right,
I was
defense.
held against
was-
my own
I
will.
put that. I
that was a
put that-
Robert Woods jersey, everybody.
I put that godforsaken jersey on, and I just realized you switched the numbers to 21. It's,
You just
I just now noticed it. No, it's that horrible, like, insult to fate jerseys that DJ has. That Shanghai Rams Aaron Donald jersey that's in the back. And I put
Did
that
you say
on
the
as
Wuhan Rams?
Wuhan
Why?
Rams?
Oh, God.
No, Rico did. I swear to
I
God.
mean, I just love that you have the.
It's
different
part of,
jerseys
all right.
on.
So it's part of the bet that me and Tommy have regarding the Lakers. If the Lakers
I
don't,
never agreed to any of that.
Yes, you did.
Whatsoever.
if the Lakers do not win the NBA title, then there you have it. But if the Lakers win, you get that. Eye for an eye, Tommy.
You could post that.
Eye
That's
for an
fine.
eye. We gonna be
I'm-
miserable together tonight, Tommy.
No, I'm gonna go play Call of Duty.
I love it, Agent
And-
46.
hmm Call of Duty. Well, boys, I think that was a solid episode. Even though we didn't talk as much football as I would like, we still got our points across. So I'm excited. Fantasy
That's the beautiful background, Rico.
it's gonna get crazy.
Yeah.
So-
The question is, how many people are gonna get mad during fantasy football time when if somebody gets the Ronas and they're out for like 2 weeks?
Well, hopefully it's like the NHL and NBA where they kind of take it more seriously, even though they're not going to be in the bubble and they are going to be traveling, especially across country. Like the Rams do have to go to Philadelphia, the Rams have to go to Buffalo. It's not going to be you can't keep everything local. That's going to be hard for the NFL to do. So, I mean, God forbid no one catches it any, seriously, and we can have
I
a football
agree.
season because
I agree.
obviously you have these young kids in college football who some conferences got, football taken away from them. And it sucks because they're still young adults and they have the love for the game just like athletes do, and they can't play that. So I mean, the only football we're going to be able to have besides some conferences is NFL. So let's enjoy it while we can.
Bustos, what's going on in the Dodger game?
Kenley has the bases loaded with 1 out.
Also,
what?
the
Oh, don't quit.
final is Galaxy 3, Portland 2. Arturo Lakes coming through in the comments. But you guys, solid episode. I liked it. Daryl Evans was
Kenley
so
has
cool.
3-0 count, so it's not looking good right now.
3-0, bases loaded.
Yeah,
How many outs?
1.
No more talking.
Double play.
Let me find out on snap the course. No more.
Double play. Calling it.
Vets
Hopefully.
You heard
and
it
Biz
here.
Podcast.
So if you guys
we
weren't
don't
paying
say
attention
anything
earlier, we're off next week, no podcast. But the following week, we will be joined by none other, the one, the only. Let me put this promo back up here real quick. Bob Miller on the podcast.
Send in the Bob Squad.
We're also going to be re-releasing our Bob shirts around the podcast, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, guys.
20% off with CDA. Check out.
But yeah, guys, solid episode. I'll see you guys on the 14th. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Shout out to Daryl Evans for coming through. Shout out to all these
Support your local
hooligans.
hooligans.
Until next time, this has been the
No.
Hooligan Sports Podcast.
I'm not gonna see you guys till the 14th. No.
Bye, guys.
It's so hard to say goodbye.
Bye, guys.
But we have.
There we go.